Welcome to Small Town Big Life podcast. I am Pastor Drew Collins, here with Jackie Brown, who's flying the plane. And our guests today are Eric and Jennifer Smithgall. Smithgall, right? That's the correct pronunciation. Part of our worship band, members of our church, and dear friends. And we are here to talk about tattoos, because people talk about tattoos all the time. We have a whole list because we're organized, and everyone here has tattoos.
Yeah.
So we don't have anyone who's not represented, who represents the non-tattoo people. How you guys doing?
Great.
Yeah, doing well.
Doing well? Great. All right.
I was going to say I don't have any tattoos, but it'd be a straight up lie.
I mean,
Yeah.
I can see them.
Yeah,
so.
that's kind of hard to say that when it's visible.
Yeah.
Your dad sent me some pretty interesting videos on tattoos today.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they were hysterical. It was Matt Walsh from the Daily Wire. There was a girl complaining about not getting a job at TJ Maxx because of her tattoos. She had like demons on her neck and stuff on her face.
Oh,
And
jeez.
I know. It was, anyway.
We only turned down one person for tattoos that I know of at work. They had a tattoo right on their hand. It said, "Your throat here." That's normally not, a good choice.
Classy.
Yeah.
You know.
So I guess there are some restrictions when it comes to tattoos.
Well, the upside of tattoos, to your point, is that I'm eating this cheese that Jackie makes. Is it immediately identifies the quality of someone's character? Sometimes you don't have to ask questions. You can see by what they're showing the world. There's no mysteries. The one you just said is a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that happens a lot. What do you have tattoos of?
Well, the probably most prominent visible one is the Eye of Providence right on the front of my bicep. So, Illuminati, obviously.
You must
Definitely why I got it. Had nothing to do with the fact that it has ties to Christianity. It's the all-seeing eye of God, referencing that encased within a triangle representing the Trinity. So that tends to be the most obvious one.
Right, but there's people that don't understand that. It's like you said in your own joke. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
you know that people will look at it and think it's something else.
Oh, yeah, obviously. Like I said, right to the conspiracy theory.
Has anyone ever said anything to you about it like that?
Yeah, straight up.
How do
Illuminati.
you just go, yep, that's it?
Yeah, I do. It depends on the person, realistically, but...
You had someone not know what it was, too, and we're like, nice pentagram. And you're
Yes.
like, oh, that's not what that is.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh,
I did have that, too.
wow.
I'm like, that's
gosh.
not even the right shape, but you know what? We're close. We're close. Thanks for the compliment. It is well done.
And that's the other thing, the compliment. Now, to have a tattoo, when I got mine, it was 30 years ago. But I knew people would talk about them, and so I never got offended when someone would ask me about my tattoo. But other people, we've all come across people that if someone's looking at their arms, they're like, "What are you looking at?" Well, I'm looking at your tattoos because you got them, and then people are going to look, and I don't understand when people get frosted if someone's looking at their tattoos.
Right?
Yeah, unless they have some kind of complex that they're staring at them for the wrong reasons or something like that. What's your most prominent tattoo?
Oh, a bear, probably. I've got... This is all stuff for my kids, so...
Yeah, it's so... there's something in the entire tattoo that's related to the...
Yeah. Yep. Mary Poppins for Kira. That was her movie.
That was my
Most of
daughter's
them-
favorite
yeah.
movie, my oldest daughter.
I picked a movie for them like when they're really little, one that they were obsessed with. So Mary Poppins, Coco was Ezra's. I didn't get one for Judah yet. He likes Winnie the Pooh. But then I have animals for all the kids on my arm as well.
That's pretty cool. So they all mean something. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and yours definitely has meaning.
Well, yeah, that's like I said, it's the most prominent one on my arm. And then on the inner bicep, I have a barn owl, which when we got married, that's kind of her animal, is a barn owl. On the outside of my arm is a wolf, kind of my animal. And on the back is just the back of the arm is a tree representing family
Yeah.
tree, that type of stuff.
Sure.
So those are the tattoos that people see on us the most because they're on the arm.
Right.
So it's a visible location. I do have a couple other tattoos. We got matching tattoos. Cirque Beithel, it's a Irish symbol, and it's basically eternal love between a couple
that's
of people.
cool.
And it's probably dug through my phone. Probably should have had those ready to go. Pictures.
No, that's all right.
But it's basically the way we did it is it's rock and like gray, and then a greenery leaf type meshing together in the middle. And then, the trope tattoo for a Christian with a cross. I have one of those. And
Right.
Also, I have Michael chaining the dragon on my back.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Which, that's Revelation, kind of the promised victory, the final victory there. So
That's wow. That's pretty cool.
I'd like to see the picture of that sometime because my husband's thinking about another one, and he loves the symbolism of Michael, but he wants to, spin it in a weird way and have Michael standing on an alien or, maybe Shredder or something like that.
Okay, yeah, that's a weird spin on it.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool. You just got something.
I did. I have 3. I have on my pretty much the length of my thigh. I have a geisha surrounded by peonies. On my back, I have a dark fairy, like a fall fairy eating an apple. And then I went to Penn State, so I'm going to use this phrase. I have a tramp stamp.
Oh my goodness.
So it's
my
you
goodness.
didn't get your diploma without one, basically. They wouldn't hand it to you. So yes, I have one of those.
You have a tramp stamp.
I do.
See, now tattoo. That's the one thing about tattoos. It's all about real estate.
Yeah,
Real estate, because some of these young girls, like 19 years old, I'm going to get a butterfly right here. Well, no one can see it because it's hidden up here. And then they don't think about when, their grandchildren come running in the room and go, Grandma, show us Big Bird, show us Big Bird.
Oh, jeez.
Not a butterfly anymore. And it's like, seems like a good decision. It's Woodstock. Well, it looks like Big Bird now.
No.
But tramp stamps, I think it's funny you identified it as that because I wouldn't have said it unless you said it first.
I wasn't sure if I should say it, and then it's like, you know what? Let's just go for it.
Just
put it out there. Yeah.
Do you guys? What's your take? We'll start with you, Jen.
Mm-hmm.
When someone says to you, the Bible says tattoos are sin because your body's a temple of God, and you're awful. What do you think about that? I know they don't word it like that, but that's essentially what they try to say. How do you respond? I have a response. We're probably all got kind of the same.
Yeah, knowing who I am, I probably wouldn't really respond. But what I'd want to say, I think a lot of times, which I'm sure you would all agree, verses get taken out of context, or they don't look at what's being said. Like they just, how my father would say it is it's like gymnastics. You just like pull verses from all over to make a point, and you have to look at the whole thing. And that verse wasn't even talking about that sort of thing. It was talking about like sexual immorality and everything else. But I don't know. I'm horrible at explaining things.
Your normal answer when somebody says your body's a temple, straight away, she always likes to joke. Yeah, it's stained glass. It's got stained glass windows.
Yeah.
I never heard that. That's a good one.
I like that.
That's a good one.
And then, we were just talking before this, obviously, and she was showing me pictures. And so your body's a temple. That's great. But if you look at practically all of Christianity, even in the early stages of Christianity, look at the paintings that adorn the walls, the ceilings.
Right, all these temples, the Sistine Chapel, like all this stuff. It's beautiful artwork and stuff. So
it's interesting that you said that because I had a friend. I want to ask you. Don't let me forget. I want to ask you something about your tattoos. In my head.
Okay.
Who called me a couple of years ago, and he said his son, who's almost grown. He was grown, 18, 19 years old, wanted to get a tattoo. And he said, Drew, I want to know your take on this because you're a pastor now and you've got tattoos. And, we were in the same band together, so he knows what I used to be like and all this stuff. And he said, what's your take? He wants to get a tattoo, my son. So I'm going to have to talk to him. What should I say? And I said, the biggest opposition you're going to get from anyone who's a Christian is they're going to say your body's temple of God and all this kind of stuff. And I go, and biblically speaking, if you read those passages, it is your body's a temple of God. I go, what you put in your body, how you take care of your body. I go, the Bible doesn't say you can't decorate the temple. I go, there's all kinds of things around. There's golden candlesticks and adornments around the temple that respect and glorify and amplify the beauty of the temple. I said, the thing is, what are you decorating your temple with? I go, that's the way I look at it, and not only the way I look at it, but the way I interpret the scripture too. The point being made here is the way you represent yourself and take care of yourself to others and project, and what projects on you and through you and in you and what you put in you. All of that is what applies to your body being the temple of God. And that's the short of it. And so that's how I respond to that. And I still do when anybody, and it has nothing to do with the fact that I have tattoos, because I wouldn't get tattoos again. I wouldn't get them now. I don't regret getting them. I don't have anything I regret. Everything has a specific meaning to me. I don't have anything that I don't want people to see or I'm ashamed of or anything like that. But you go through, I was thinking about this today. How do I describe this without sounding condescending? Because what I don't want to say is you outgrow it, because then that insinuates you're not mature when you get them. And that's not the truth.
Right.
But it's an experience. You experience several things in life, and I've experienced it. And I'm older now. Would I get another one? I probably would if there was something really meaningful I wanted to do. But I had the experience, and when I did it, not many people. It wasn't a fashion thing. When I did it, there wasn't a lot of people getting them, and then everyone started to get them. So I don't regret it. I didn't, but I don't fault people for doing it that are young. I wouldn't do it now, but I'm not ashamed of the stuff I have. Now, there's so much I want to unpack here. Now, coming off of what Jen and Eric said about their tattoos, your tattoos. Now, because people get tattoos for two different reasons. So my question is, do you get a tattoo because the tattoo itself, and there's no wrong answer to this, by the way, so this isn't a setup or anything.
Okay.
Like something like this has a special meaning to me, or is it because this is just beautiful? Because some people just love beautiful art, and they want a tattoo. That is gorgeous, and I would love to have a tattoo of that. And then some people, like some of the stuff they discussed, and say, wow, no, this means this very specific thing to me.
For me, it's a mix and I think part of it is being an artist, that we appreciate art and we appreciate when something is just beautifully done. And I would love to have that on my body for the rest of my life, honestly. And I can absolutely appreciate that. And that was the one on my back. I reached out to the artist who drew it, and I said, it is an amazing drawing, a painting. I'd love to put it on me if that's okay. And she was like, absolutely. And that one isn't as symbolic as the other one, the one that I just got. That one was much more in my head, and putting it together, different symbols and different pieces, and putting them all together into one thing. Okay.
All right. So it's a combination of it.
It depends.
I mean, I know no one gets one that they think it's, that they don't like the way it looks or anything.
Well, sometimes I wonder. I mean, you see some people on TV sometimes, and it's like, really? You paid somebody to put that on your body? Wow, dude.
No regrets?
No regrets.
We've all seen all the memes with the no regrets. Do you have any you regret?
No.
No, I don't either. Do you?
No, I have ones that need redone now, but
over time, the Woodstock. No, I'm just kidding. No, you're not. You're not anywhere near old enough to have Woodstock turn into Big Bird.
I have a tree, but it's a sad tree now, so it needs fixing.
Yeah, well, that's all right.
Babies did that.
I think it's cool that you guys got one that the eternal love thing. That's cool. My wife doesn't have any tattoos, but now that gives me an idea. I'm going to tell her, I'll get a rolling pin and you get a wife beater shirt. Oh. And it'll show our current, or a couch and a pizza. We want to reflect our current age. Mm-hmm. Or I could just get a dozen cats all over my arm because that's the world I live in.
Yeah.
No. They're not in our house. They're not. They're just no. But I do think it's cool. But she doesn't have any. She's never said. She's not against them. She's not for them. She's just, she thinks they're cool. When she sees other people have them, she wants to look at them and talk about them. And I don't know that she would get one. I'm talking a lot. Who wants to chirp up? Is it what jumps off of that page at you? Any topic? There's that Eric. I think the bottom three lines were your suggestions.
Oh, boy.
And I have some questions about that.
And I put a big word "ugh" on mine.
You put "ugh" on. Let's see.
On the one in particular.
The third one?
The third one.
Growing popularity of blackout tattoos. Talk about that.
No, it's just when we first started talking about doing this, and that was kind of what was hitting the news. There was a whole bunch of different celebrities that had been doing blackout tattoos. And so you see that, and normally celebrities kind of drive what people start deciding to do in their own lives as well. So there's the commonality of that, where people are getting blackout tattoos, and there's differing reasons behind it too.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, so...
What? Why?
I think for most people now, a lot of them, it's just like the new trend. I don't really know. Some of it, I don't know. But like Kat Von D, which was somebody who we had put down on there, she has blackout tattoos now, but it's because she became a Christian. So some of the stuff that she had on her body doesn't reflect Christianity. So she wanted it blacked out.
But why would you black it out? Why wouldn't you just have it removed or do a cover up?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
She actually spoke to that, and I don't remember what exactly her reasoning was.
I had a thought that as soon as you said that, why I could answer that, but go ahead.
But yeah, if I'm not mistaken, it was something along the lines of that she would rather have ink to go over top of it than to just go through the process of having it removed. But I could be completely wrong. Like I said, I remember her speaking to that. The reason Kat Von D was even part of this too was the copyright lawsuit at that time period. The results of that just came out, where she had put an image on somebody that looked like another person's artwork or photograph or however that was.
Yeah.
Got sued for copyright infringement. And there was
For a tattoo?
Yeah, for a tattoo that she
I've never heard of anyone doing. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. And so thankfully that the end result of that lawsuit was that she won the case. She did not lose, which is good news for, I guess, the tattoo industry as a whole too, because that's a lot of times artists are using source material of some form.
Templates they didn't even draw.
Right, right.
So,
and even when you start a tattoo business, you can buy books and books and pages and books of drawings that exist that already templates, already scanned. That would ruin the industry to say you can't put that on you. Besides, the person is not making money off of it, so they're not doing anything illegal. I don't know. I'm glad she won that.
Yeah, it's just weird.
It is. And the difference between people with tattoos and people without tattoos is people with tattoos are not offended by people without tattoos.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
I think there's a line you have to connect.
Yeah.
I think anything you do in life, whether we're talking about guns or having a beer, or I don't care what anything can be abused, and anything can go too far. If you come, anyone in this room, if I was going to hire you, based on your appearance alone, I would definitely hire you. But if you come in and you have skulls and demons and stuff, and it's on your face and teardrops around your eyes, and I know what that means. We all know what that means, and stuff on your face, it's a no go for me because and at some point a person has to go. You know what? If I'm going to work for somebody, that means during the time I'm working for them, I'm reflecting them. And when I was a service technician for a company a long time ago, most of our customers were senior citizens. And when I went to their house, I rolled my sleeves down. I don't have anything gross or scary. It's a choice I made. They didn't make me do it. I just thought, you know what? I want to make this person relaxed and I don't know. What do you think about that? People that go too far with it?
Well, I mean, it's personal opinion. If you want to do something to your body, that's your thing. But and
then complain about it when
every choice that you make
has consequences.
Exactly.
That's right.
Like I watch a lot of these reality shows with tattoos just because I like looking at what people are designing and coming up with, and people are tattooing their eyelids.
I know.
And like the inside of their mouth.
Yeah, I had. I get a bad experience with somebody like that.
I just don't get the motivation behind that.
The eyes, people get like their eyes tattooed as well, and that's just like
creepy. No way.
But it's to each their own, and like I said, your choices will make a consequence, right? So if you decide to get, as you pointed out, tattoos on the face,
then you can't be mad that you can't work at TJ Maxx. Like,
right.
That's it.
Exactly.
Work at Hot Topic instead.
I think it says something in the video I told you about. I think it said something about the girl's character too, because what I found to be really interesting, because I talked to Mark about it, and we had a little bit back and forth, laughing about some of the things she said. But what I found interesting was, she said she didn't get hired, right? And then she said she went in and asked why, and then they said, we have candidates with more experience. And then she said, but I find that hard to believe. So I think it's my tattoos. I said, wait a minute. No one brought that up. And now you are going out of your way to call attention to this. So I'm like, okay, so here now you're shining through. Now we're seeing the person. You want to spar basically with someone over something, and I thought that was interesting. I thought that says a lot about. And I'm not saying everybody gets tattoos on their face is an idiot, but it's like you just said. There's consequences when you do something like that.
I guess that would be the thing too. If you think about it, if you're going to get a tattoo, think about what the consequences might be by getting said tattoo. I mean, if you're going to put it in a location that is visible all of the time, like your face, there's probably going to be some restrictions when it comes to getting employment. If you put it on a spot like on me, I don't have anything below my elbow, and I don't have anything below my elbows for a reason. At work, unless somebody manages to find this video, I don't know if they even know that I have tattoos. I can tell you that most of them don't, because I've sat in conversations where they're very adamant against tattoos.
Right.
And shocked at the fact that we're even allowing people to have visible tattoos in the office environment now. And so that's what's interesting to me. So that's why I choose where I have them. It doesn't go below the elbow for a reason. That's why. And it's not going to. And that's just the way that my workplace works.
I got fired for having tattoos. Well, I got a job. It was really hard to get for a company that poured foundations for building, and I was. They hired me, and I was in the interview process, and then they sent me to, I think it was Cleveland, to the factory to see where they make the concrete for the poured walls. So it was a process. I go see this, and then we go to the sites where we're building. It's a long story. This was like 15 years. It was a long time ago. And I went to Cleveland, saw the factory, came back, went to the office, turned in some more paperwork. And on this day, I had my sleeves rolled up. And the guy goes, "Did you talk with my dad?" And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Did he see your tattoos?" And I go, "No." And he said, "Ah." And I go, "What's wrong?" He goes, "This isn't going to work." I go, "It's not." Are you telling me?
Wow.
After 2 weeks, I've gone to Cleveland. You already hired me. I'm on payroll. And he goes, "I'm sorry, bro. It's a thing. I said, we're ending this because of this? And he said, "Yeah." And I'm like, and he kept saying sorry. I said, I just left. I was really mad because the law in Ohio, because I talked to a lawyer about this. I wasn't seeking action. It just came up in a conversation later with a friend of mine who's a lawyer. Because I'm like, I'm putting my big boy pants on and move on. I'm not going to just try to go through all that. And the law and I know this because I've had to hire and fire people a lot. And the law in Ohio is hire and fire at will. You don't have to give a reason. But a lawyer said, but when they do give a reason and the reason's questionable, he goes, then you've got leverage. Because that same thing, I got fired for having long hair too. My hair was down to here, but I kept it in a hat. And when I had to go to the corporate office one day, I was filling out some paperwork, and I went outside and I took my hat off because it was hot. And then one of the corporate guys saw me. Cohen, I'll never forget this guy's name. His name's Cohen. Lee Cohen, that's his name. Property management, Lee Cohen, Columbus, Ohio. Send him mail. He's dead now. But so they said, Lee called, and, you have to cut ties, and it's a safety issue. I go, safety issue? What's it? And it fired me for having long hair. And despite the fact that I excelled and all that, so it's a sore subject for me. I mean, getting discriminated against. But I knew when I was going into it about tattoos. And so I thought, you know what? I didn't make a big issue of that. The hair, I didn't make a big issue of, because these are things that you go through life. You're just going to encounter people that don't like the way you look and don't want you representing them. And I'm okay with that. But I would never take that extra leap to ensure that I'm definitely going to step in it by putting tattoos all over my face. I never ever once cried foul. I just went, you know what, whatever, and moved on. And I still feel that way. And I still feel like, yeah, I'm a little frosted, but I'm a man. I can go. I got skills. I'll get over this. No big deal. But it also causes me not to. I don't look at people based on their appearance and say, you're an idiot. But I also won't hire someone with tattoos on their face to represent my company.
Right.
I don't know. I'm talking a lot about this.
No.
I guess that's a sore subject for me, but in a good way. I think that you can get good out of this too. Well,
I mean, there's also the thing that no matter what you do, no matter where you go, you're going to offend somebody with something you do, something you say, something you're wearing, no matter what it is. So
you said it.
I mean, like where my husband works, he works in a factory and everybody's got tattoos. It's just common. Everybody's got them, but he's a supervisor. So he doesn't have them below his elbows. And that's just, that's his thing, because he knows that the owners of the company not being from this country, if they would walk in the door, which they'll never do, but if they would walk in the door one day and see a supervisor all inked up, they might personally be offended. Mm-hmm. So
how did your parents and people around you, did anyone ever go, what are you doing? Why are you doing that?
My parents didn't really have too much to say about it.
Let me stop first. When did you get your first one? How old were you?
I was 19.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. No, they had, I think I definitely talked to my mom about it. I may not have said something to my dad. I don't remember, but I
could see that conveniently happening.
I was getting it. So.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
My grandparents definitely, I don't think they care for them, but they won't ever directly say things to me. It usually goes through my dad.
Right.
So, but I mean, that's just how it is. It's okay. So.
Did you get any flack when you got?
Oh yeah.
Like, okay, what happened?
No, I just when I got one, I didn't tell either of my parents, and
I influenced him.
How old were you?
I was in my 20s. I don't even remember how
okay.
old I was. Yeah, I was in my 20s, and because I was still living at home, and I was sitting just playing video games, but I didn't have my shirt on. Right, it was because it was right after I got it done. It was on my back. It was the Michael Chaney Dragon. And I sat for a couple of sessions for it. So I was sitting there. This was after like the first one, and not long after I got it. And my mom came in the room and saw me just sitting there playing video. And what is that?
Well, it's also not that small either. Like,
no, a quarter of my back. So it's a tattoo. Or I think I might have even said it's Michael Chaney Dragon, or however it was. I answered the question, but yeah, not overly thrilled at the idea.
Yeah.
So.
Your parents are weird. My daughter, when she was little, she called them stamps. She goes, Dad, can I get stamps too when I get older? And I go, what are you talking about? She goes, just like your stamps. I go, sure.
That's cool.
She called them stamps.
Stamps.
She was little.
I like that.
She had listen, I just got to say this real quick. This is the same daughter that when she was little, I said, what do you want to be when you grow up? She was like 5 or 6. She goes, I want to be a stamper. And I was thinking about tattoos. I go, you want to be a stamper? What's that mean? And she goes, like when people come in the fair and you have to stamp their hands. And I go, yeah. I go, that's what you want to do with your life? And she goes, yeah. I go, well, you could crush that. That's easy. If that's your goal, you're in there. You could almost do that now.
Yeah.
And then she said, I either want to do that or I want to make robots like in Star Wars, like C-3PO and stuff. And I go, well, those are very far apart from each other in educational requirements. But I go, set your sights on hand stamper first and then move up to robot.
Move up the ladder.
So the stamping thing came up.
I want to be a stamper.
I want to be a stamp. Yeah. Can I get a stamp?
That's really cool.
That is, well, yeah, that is cool. But kids and tattoos. I've got a tattoo story to give, but I've been talking a lot. I feel like somebody else needs to voice up here. Pick something off the page. There's so much here, man, about tattoos. Let's just see. We went through the meaning of the tattoos. Eric, you said something else interesting on your list. You said the use of AI to design tattoos. Now, what brought that up? Because that didn't even enter my mind.
Well, so anymore, there's different apps and artificial intelligence used for developing a whole bunch of things. And so using AI to develop the design work for the tattoos. I think the app's like DaVinci or something like that, where you can use that to generate artwork, unique artwork or something along those lines. And what brought it up was you probably think you guys were doing an AI podcast at about the time that we were talking about doing this one too. So I listened to that and I'm like, oh, there's an idea for tattoos. So because they use it in the design of the artwork. So
okay, here's the thing about it. I thought about this heavy today when I was reading this, because I typed this thing out and I saw the last stuff you added and I thought, man, I never thought about that. So I started thinking heavy. In the world of art, when I was in art school, one of the most interesting things to discuss is the history of art. Now, think about this, because this AI is coming up everywhere in art now. They're generating we see it everywhere.
Yeah.
Generating music, generating sermons. They've done it for across the board.
So when art was art before the camera, when the camera came out, a lot of artists and a lot of art fans went, what's the point? What's the point now? I mean, and then they come up with different things to do. Cubism and postmodern. Artists were forced to read. Some of them said, I'm still going to paint because a human painting looks different. The camera really, really was a punch in the gut to artists in terms of we got a lot of decisions to make. I think AI is the same thing. I don't think it's going to take over everything because I already notice when something's looking too perfect or too good or lacks human emotion. Like music now for me is, I call it drag and drop music because it's all made on computers where you drag samples and you drop them and you drag it over and drop it and drag it and drop it. And you watch people, they sell whole programs. Well, you can make a symphony orchestra, and drag and drop music sounds too perfect. And one thing a lot of young people say to me is, man, the music was so good in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And I'm like, that's because it was played by people who were feeling it. And they were playing it live. And I'm not weirded out about AI crushing stuff. But I mean, to your point, I wouldn't want personally, it's a personal decision. I wouldn't want to design something through AI and then take it to a tattoo artist. I want someone's fingerprints and creativity, I think, on that.
What if the tattoo artist uses it to design the design for you?
Then I wouldn't know. I'd be none the wiser.
Right?
So,
Well, and
mean, at
even
the
if
end of-
somebody's using it, they're still going to put their own spin on it.
Yeah,
but
that's what I
it's like a starting point.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if they used it as a
Inspiration.
starting point,
Right.
and then let's make this part pink instead, or the different styles with like you said, with cubism or with pop art style or with a different style, a different spin to it. I think if they can still put that emotion into it,
Yeah.
it's okay.
And people will say, because art is about ideas, and people will say, well, what if you can't tell the difference? I mean, I think the next move in art will be just people doing it in front of other people then so they can see them do it. I don't know what it'll be, but people find a way. They find a way to channel their creativity without being part of the drag and drop generation. Well, I don't want to call it a generation. It's a movement because it's not specific to an age group. It's a technological thing, I think, that has moved in on all of us. And I mean, you were absolutely right to make the observation. It's going to probably become pretty dominant in the tattoo world. So,
Even so, you still need to have, well, people go to people who don't know how to tattoo, but you still need to have a good artist to put it on your body, even if they did generate something.
oh yeah,
You know
you're
what I
true.
mean? So
It's still going to have its imperfections because the second that ink's entering the skin, it's not gonna be a perfect line. It might not fit perfectly. It might bleed a little bit or something like that, and
Have you
removes the computer from it.
have you ever watched those shows on like those documentaries when they show old timey tattoo guys where they use
Yes.
like in Hawaii where they have bamboo with
The
needles
stick
and they're
thing.
hitting you with
Yeah.
hammers and all that stuff. Like that's a whole different perspective on this stuff. You know, I'm like,
yeah,
man.
there's a woman. I think she's like 100. She's at least in her late 90s, but she still tattoos them now. It's a thing now where people go. I think it's in like Indonesia or something.
She gives them or gets them?
She gives them. Like people
Oh.
are traveling there to get a tattoo from her because she's the only one that still does it anymore.
Yeah, we
wow.
went to there's tattoo conventions, and they're actually a lot of fun. We went to a tattoo convention in Philly probably 10 years ago or something, and there was a foreign artist there doing the tappy tattoo on someone's underarm,
Ouch.
and he looked like he was in the most pain of
Yes.
his entire
Your
life.
armpit hurts the
The
worst.
armpit.
Wow. No. Ugh.
Oh.
There might be other spots that hurt, but where we've had tattoos, the armpit's been the worst so far.
Oh, you have them there.
It's
not in the armpit, but like it feels like they're in your armpit when they're close
When they're-
to it.
As you're
Yeah.
getting closer and closer, you're like, yeah, you're there. You're.
Yeah, I'm just like,
yeah,
are you
don't-
in my armpit? No. Okay, it feels like you are.
Okay.
No, we're good. No, you're close enough. We don't need to go in the armpit.
Yeah, I was going to ask you. You already know the story, but I said I'd talk about it today. My daughter, because one of my questions to ask you guys is, all your kids are real little. What are you going to say when they come to you and want a tattoo? Well, my daughter, wants a tattoo, and she told a couple weeks ago, I want to get a tattoo, and I'm like, okay, here we go. And I said, what are you going to get? And we start talking, and how much should it cost? And I told her. And she said, oh, it's a lot more than that. And I said, then it's a ripoff. And we just go going back and forth. I said, what do you get a tattoo of? And she said, a Bible verse. So then we hem haw. I'm like, oh, thank God. It's a Bible verse. And we go back and forth about what verse. And I said, and she finally settled on one, sent me a picture, and it's elegant script and a butterfly and all this kind of stuff. And I said, why are they charging you so much? And she said, I'm getting my back, like my whole back, like the whole area. And I said, no, why? And she said, go big or go home, Dad. And I go, no, not when you're 19. It's not go big or go home. And
That's what I said when I got mine too.
so she,
Oh, boy.
so she ended up yeah, she said, I already gave him $100 towards the price. So here's the interesting part. The next week, my daughter texts me. She's only done this one other time in her life. And she said, hey, I was wondering if you could do me a favor. And I said, what? She said, I'm kind of low this week and I need to get groceries. And I said, you need groceries? And she goes, yeah. She doesn't ask me for money ever. She's fiercely independent. So I said, okay, I'll help you out. So I Venmo'd her $100, and in the note I wrote groceries, and in parentheses I wrote tattoo. Mm-hmm. She texted me back. She said, it's not for my tattoo. I said, yes, it is, because you told me you gave me $100 for your tattoo. Don't. And of course, we had a laugh with it. But I saw the picture of the tattoo, and it looks good, and it was. But I told her, I'm your dad. You don't get tattoos on your back. Who sees your back? People at the pool. Who else sees your back? And then it's all, Dad, you're way overthinking this. And then I'm like, dude, just be glad your daughter got a Bible verse and not something.
Right.
Have you ever looked at a tattoo? Start with you, Jen. Have you ever looked at a tattoo on somebody else and go, why? Why on earth would you do that? I mean, something that sticks out that you remember?
Oh, yeah. I don't even know. There was more to it than just this, but like somebody on visibly it said F you on it. It's just like stuff like that, or like really like
identifies the quality of their character immediately.
Right. Things with like naked women and stuff. It's just like, I don't know.
From a young age, as a young man, I never understood demons, naked women, any of that stuff. I've always been a Christian, but I've not always been walking in obedience. But even when I was a young man, I'm like, dude, why? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't get that. I'm sure you feel this. Have you seen something that sticks out that you?
Nothing in particular that sticks out. I mean, sometimes I look at them, and you can tell when somebody got a tattoo at somebody's house, when somebody just got the tattoo machine. I'm like,
that is true. I do that. We do that a lot.
Why would you choose to do that? Like, if you're going to get tattooed, maybe go to a shop, somebody that's
and look at their work,
right?
And can and actually knows the process for multiple reasons. One of those being just your health and safety. Because getting tattooed in somebody's house, just straight up, just that, I would never do it. I wouldn't risk my health.
No, and you can tell. You can tell when you look at the work.
Mm-hmm.
And then how it heals, and it's just not gonna. Yeah, it's just a dangerous game to play. But that's really the only time that I really pay attention. I like to look at what other people have tattooed on them. I do pay attention to that, but I don't. Nothing jumps out other than what Jen said there. Like.
Yeah, just blazingly ignorant stuff.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I never understood the mentality. I'll get a naked girl. That way, when girls look at me, see a naked girl, they're going to look, hey, he likes girls. That's pretty cool. I mean, what are they, what are they thinking? I mean,
and honestly, like pinup girls, like that style, I don't mind that. I think that's fine. But when they're straight up naked, I'm like,
right.
Oh, you're talking about like old 50s style, like airplane.
Yeah, like that stuff like that.
Fine.
I like that stuff. I think it's fine. But
pinup style is when they're clothed.
Right.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. But when it's just ta-da!
When you're whipping things out.
I don't, yeah.
Well, you can be the Apache helicopter if you have that on your arm, right?
What do you mean?
Oh, because the joke about you can identify as anything. I'm an Apache helicopter.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You get to have the label of it as well.
Yeah.
I love it when you're looking at somebody's tattoos online or something like that, and it's supposed to be a celebrity.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and that looks awful.
And you kind of squint, and you kind of turn your head, and it's like, well, maybe.
We watch lots of shows like that. They're not American shows. It's like a British show where people come in to get their tattoos redone because they're really, really bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who's that? Yeah. That's my son when he was born. Looks like Cookie Monster.
Right.
It's like I've seen those before.
Yeah. They're absolutely, but they're hilarious.
The bulldog on your arm. That's my grandma.
That's like, yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, watch her. She smokes a cigar. I can make her move.
Yikes.
Yeah, and then I've seen tattoos I don't understand. And I mean, he's like, what is that? Yeah, I don't know. I had the guy did my tattoos when I got him. He's one of the most reputable, best tattoo guys there are. And he did 3 of the 4 I have. Well, somebody said, you need to use his apprentice. I'm not going to say his name. But he said, he's even better than Tim. And when Tim, I said, better than Tim. Okay, so I went and I watched this kid work, and I looked at his stuff, and I'm like, he's phenomenally talented, really talented. Mm-hmm. So, I said I had him do one, the fourth one. I think it was this one or this one. It might have been both of these two up here. But the point is, the second time he was doing it, I'm sitting there and he's doing the tattoo, and he said, "Yeah, we're talking about what'd you do this weekend." It was because I got the tattoo. We played at an outdoor concert where the TV stations and stuff were there, and so he had a tattoo booth there. So he did. That's what it was. I remember. So we're talking about what'd you do this weekend and all this stuff. And he said, "Oh, I was down at we were down at Short North, just me hanging out with some other skins." I go, "Some other what?" And he goes, "Skins." And I go, "What do you mean skins?" He goes, "Skinheads." I go, "You're a skinhead?"
Oh.
And he goes, "Yeah," because he's real laid back. And I go, I didn't know that. And he opened his mouth and he has a tattoo right here. And I'm not going to say what it said, but it was very racist. And I go, "Okay." And then he pulled his sleeve all the way up and showed me the back of his shoulder. I'm like, "Dude, things are different between us now."
Yeah.
And he's about done with my tattoo, and I'm just staring out into space going, "I can't believe this.
Yeah.
I just can't believe this. No one told me this." And I go, I don't see. He goes, yeah, I don't show that stuff everywhere. Just, wear tank tops and stuff, and we get down there and we're not like, everybody thinks we're super racist. He goes, "We just like to fight and drink." I go, "Okay." Now his disposition was like, the nicest kid next door that you could ever want to meet and all that stuff. I mean, he's so nice, and I see how he could be scary looking. And after this, I didn't have him do any more work. I was done. It was my last one. I'm like, man. And then later, I heard through the grapevine, buddies in another band said, "Oh yeah, he covered all that stuff. He changed his life. He's totally different now. The problem is he regrets all that, and he covered it and he's changing it, but it's a huge process now because there's some of the work's huge that he did. Yeah. So God gets a hold of you, changes everything around, and you're like, now I got a long road." And for me, I don't know what lesson I learned, but I'm still trying to figure it out. That I was in there and he did all this work, not all this work. I didn't get sleeves or anything, but I didn't know until the last minute. Had I known that going into it, I wouldn't have had him do any of my work. Yep. And I don't have anything that's, like I said, I'm ashamed of. I got a lot of people can't see their fade. That's just a black shark because I covered a tattoo I tried when I was younger. I did myself. It was a needle and thread, and it looked homemade. And it was like 15 or something. So I got the silhouette because when I was a kid, I was convinced I was going to be a marine biologist. Jacques Cousteau was my favorite show on it. Sharks. I was always obsessed with sharks. Still am. This is a shark with a saddle on it, which now I'm older and it's faded, so it looks like a hummingbird. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It's jumping up out of the water with a saddle because not the band. This is a buzzard with a monocle and a top hat, and it says "No More Deals." That was about because I wrote a song. It's about the music industry at the time. My attitude towards people in the record companies and dealing with, there's a lot of shifty stuff back then. It's the whole different now with the internet, but that's why I got that. And this one over here is an Indian brave head with. The eye, it's a skull actually, but it's got the Indian braid, the hair, and the eyeball. Because it was when I got that, I was thinking about. I went to the reservation where my grandma lived when I was a kid, and I started thinking about they're gone, but they're not gone. There's still life there, and it reflected that for me. And I thought about it. It was a personal idea, and so it's not like a death skull. It's like there's a meaning for me there. So not ashamed of any of that stuff, but it's faded now. And I'm not going to get any of it touched up because I don't really have a reason to. No one sees me in the public eye the way they used to. They just look at my arm and they go, "Oh, he's got a couple tattoos." I'm married now. I've got kids. I'm older. I don't go to bars. Right. I don't go, I'm not at gym. I go to the gym where the old folks go so I can feel like I'm awesome. And because if I go to the gym where the young people are, I feel very unawesome. So nobody walks up to me and says, "Hey, I think,"
Right.
They usually walk up and go, "Hey, you need a couple bucks?" That's usually how people approach me. Talking a lot again. Pick something, Jen. What's on there?
Oh, goodness. I don't know.
Is there, okay. Well, is there any part of your body that should be off limits? Okay, now I don't just mean this I guess I should think about it. It's not just sexually speaking. I'm not saying because there's the obvious thing. You shouldn't do this in this real tender spot. We could have that whole conversation.
Right.
But what do you think about like painful like my daughter said, does it hurt? And I said, it's going to hurt, and it's going to be on your spine. And she said, later, she said, I practically fell asleep. Didn't hurt at all. I'm like, whatever, trying to be tough. But like for me, anything inside the legs, inside the arms, where the skin's the thinnest. No, thank you. This whole tattoo, none of the tattoos hurt me, but this one started to get to the inside of the arm. I'm like, dude, that's starting to irritate me right there. And you got them on the inside. See, that to me, the
position. I think it hurt more just the laying there, because I did it. It was all one day for the owl. So it was one sitting. It was like 9 hours, and just laying there with my arm up. But by the time at the end of the day, it was more just the position of having on the inside of the arm than
and then towards the end of them, because where we go, it's one session usually, and they're long sessions. So like the last 2 hours are usually. At that point, you're not talking to the artist anymore, and you're just like sitting there trying to concentrate on the music and breathe. So
get done.
You just got one on your whole stomach. Well, most of your stomach. I mean, that thing's huge.
Yeah, that one was okay until the last 2 hours. But things that other people say hurt really bad, I'm like, it was okay. But I told because I'm a girl though too. Because
you have an extra. I told my daughter, I go, females have an extra layer of body fat because of childbirth. So theoretically, it shouldn't hurt them as much.
And I think our pain tolerance is higher.
Yeah. But the stomach, I didn't know you had one on your stomach.
You got to see the picture. It's a pretty amazing picture.
My ribs, like both sides done, and then I just got one here. I'll show you later.
Yeah. But like I've always imagined that would be incredibly painful, just because there are so many organs there. Like,
actually, the worst spot of that, like, it was like right where your ribs end and your like the soft part starts. That's where it didn't it wasn't super painful, but it was just like you can really feel it. It's not just like you don't just feel where the needle is. It's like pain kind.
Yeah. Okay.
So your kids come to you and say, "I'm 18 and want a tattoo." What do you say? I know neither of you are going to say no, but they're going
to "Can I get one with you?"
Yeah, probably. Right.
Well, listen, no. When my daughter said it, I always thought, you know what? I'm not going to make an issue of it. And I didn't. But I did say, what, where, what's it going to say? What's it mean to you? How much does it cost? I did have a bunch of questions.
Yeah, that would be the biggest thing. I think for both of us, we would say the same thing. Like, don't just do something that's trendy right now. Like, it needs to be something that means something to you and you're not going to regret getting later. But otherwise, like, well, maybe you have more to say than just that. But
I'm going with you. That's what I'm saying. I want to go with you. It was actually pretty neat. I forget which one. One of the days that I was getting one of the ones on my arm done, while I was in the shop, a dad came in with his daughter, and his daughter had just turned 18, and he was getting a matching tattoo with her, and she was picking out the design, and he did this for all of his kids, and he ended up paying for it and whatnot, but it was her first tattoo. He was there with her and said, "I'll get a tattoo with you," and that's how he did it. I thought that was pretty neat to see how he did it. And it was a smaller tattoo, which made sense first time, but I thought that was a good way of handling it. Like, she wanted to get something. It was very specific for her, and he went along with it, kind of tweaked it a little bit for him, but I thought that was neat.
I think one of the biggest problems with the generation gaps, because I still know some older folks, like my grandparents are no longer here, but when they were, people their age, they're just vehemently, no, I'm against it, it's over. And I think it's because, and I never got to have this conversation with my grandparents, but I think it's because back in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, there were pretty much stock tattoos. Not many people were designing tattoos. And it was guys who were like, there was the that panther with the claw marks, and there was a skull, and there was an anchor, and there was certain things, because real true artists hadn't crossed over into the tattoo world yet, with the advancement of the awesome pens and the technology to do cool looking tattoos. So people who were getting tattoos were the equivalent, a lot of them, of prison tattoos, or even the ones that were good art. We're done in shady places by shady people over shady deals. So a tattoo reflected a different culture.
Another thing, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Another thing could be like around that time period is when you have like World War II, and like you have the camps, and like people there are getting numbers tattooed on their bodies. So.
That's right. Yeah. And and that's another, if you have a tattoo because someone else put it on you, that's a horrifying. But anyway, I think so. They can't disassociate themselves from these notions that they grew up in, and and they're not wrong. But then they probably look at young people as they're getting older and think, I can't believe this. The kind of people that used to get tattoos, now all these kids are doing it. This is insane. I mean, so I don't fault them for not liking them. Like I said, when I went into the homes of the older generation, I covered mine voluntarily, not because I was asked to. I did it out of respect. And I thought, you know what, let's just not even have an issue. And I think now a lot of kids don't think that way. They don't think, let's just try to make this easier on someone. This is who I am, like the TJ Maxx girl. But I think that's why there's this separation. Like if you look at us and we talk about our kids, and I'd get a tattoo with you and make sure it's personal. We understand it because now there's hygiene, there's professionalism, you can personalize things. We didn't grow up in the generation of you're a shady character if you got a tattoo. That's not part of the generation we grew up in, so we're not part of that line. I see the line of separation, and I respect their views, I guess, if you got to try to understand it.
Yeah, like when I grew up, the only people that I knew that had tattoos, one, were men, and two, were veterans. They were some kind of veteran, and they had like an anchor or a pinup or something like that. And then as we got older, you know, high school into college is when people started actually doing art and really like embracing the idea of doing something more than a little symbol, of doing like a sleeve or doing something on your back. And then I started learning about like Japanese culture and how they tattoo everything.
Yeah.
And how that's all so incredibly symbolic to them. And I think just as we keep learning about different cultures and the artistic side of it, I think it keeps expanding for us. And that's why, I mean, I don't know a lot of people anymore who don't have tattoos.
In the Japanese culture, it's very, like, it's still a taboo type of thing there. Because, like, I watched a video of somebody talking about it who had like full sleeves and stuff, but because he has tattoos, there's certain places where he is not permitted to go, but he accepts the fact, like, he made the choice to get them. Because someone was asking him, like, do you think they should change their ideas of this and like let people do? He's like, no, like, if I think it should stay how it is, but like I decided to get this, so I understand, like, I respect them. Like, I'm not supposed to go to certain places because I have them, and that's just how it is. So
right. Well, I mean, and I wouldn't walk into the Vatican with my tattoos showing. You know, I just wouldn't do that. I wouldn't be disrespectful like that either. So
right, I'm still tripping because you got.
What?
I'm still thinking back to you saying y'all go tramp stamp.
Well. Hey man!
It's just all the things you expect to hear. I wasn't
a long time ago.
Now when I look at you, I just see there's a cartoon cloud on my head of your face going, "I have a
yeah,"
in slow motion, and it's always comical now.
Yeah.
There you go.
We were all young and stupid once, and
listen. I tried to twerk my way out of a traffic ticket. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow,
I've never done that. I just had to throw something funny out there. It's not true.
P.O.
Where that came
Avis,
from.
Pennsylvania.
I think I've told this story before. A friend of mine, I don't know why this company who told me that joke. He's a big guy. He's bald. He's scary looking, but he's the nicest guy in the world. And he looks like a biker guy. We're musicians. We've been in bands together for years. Anyway, the first time he meets my daughter, she's 14. And I thought that he always says stuff that I think is hysterical. And he just looks scary, but he's not. So as he starts talking, I go, he's a nice guy. So I walk over and introduce him, and she was at church. And he's in his leather vest, and he's got his normal face. And I go, this is my daughter, Alyssa. He goes, can I sit on your lap? And she goes, no. And he goes, thanks for making that awkward. And and then he laughed. He goes, I'm kidding. I'm Trent. And I'm like, man, that was hysterical.
Wow.
Thanks for making that awkward. What a great thing to say to someone the first time you meet him. Can I sit on your lap? No. Well, thanks for making I've never had the guts to do that, but I thought it was hysterical.
That's
and
awesome.
He's another tattooed friend. So it's like you said, I don't know that many people that don't have tattoos. No, I know people that tolerate me, that like me, that are sweet and kind to me, and they're older folks, and they've told me, I just don't care for tattoos. I like you though. You're a nice guy. You're a good Christian man. But I'm not really into tattoo stuff. I don't, and I think it's that cultural separation. What did your? Oh, we're good.
We're still all right.
Yeah, we're still good. Any funny tattoo stories? I guess.
I've seen some funny tattoos. I think they're funny. Someone got a tattoo of like a bullfrog on their knee, so when they bend their knee, it like makes the neck go out.
Oh, that's cool.
I thought that
I
was really
like
funny.
that. See, I love a good funny tattoo or like a pun.
Yeah.
I love that. I love a good funny tattoo.
Yeah. All the ones I've seen, I can't talk about. But there's some funny ones out there.
There was a show called Epic Inc., and there's a tattoo parlor, a famous one called Area 51, and this girl walks in, and they're like, "Hey, what can we do for you?" And she said, "I want the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse out of My Little Ponies." And they're like,
"Oh my gosh!
All right, here we go." And they drew it from scratch by hand, and it was awesome. It was so
the Care Bears.
incredible.
I mean, not Care Bears. My Little Pony.
Ponies.
Oh, why did I think of Care Bears?
Well,
That was around the same time.
generation.
Maybe we got
But
something.
it was incredible. There's a video of
Yeah.
it. You can watch the video on YouTube. But it was like, dude,
I know why I thought
that's great.
that is. Yeah,
I like a good pun.
yeah. The 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Yeah,
4 points.
Yeah, that's your next one, huh?
It is.
Yeah.
That's gonna be my next one.
Yeah.
Not with my little.
I know why I thought of Care Bears when you said that.
Why?
This is so.
Oh,
this
no.
wasn't a tattoo, but it was a picture I saw, and I'm thinking of those things I don't like Teletubbies, My Little Pony,
Yeah,
all that
yeah.
stuff. The Care Bears. Remember how the bears would have like a symbol of on their belly of whatever bear they were?
Yeah.
Right. So when somebody at Ohio State at one of the newspapers got in trouble for drawing an editorial.
Oh boy, here we go.
It was the Care Bears, but they had playing with Fire Bear, and it was all burned, and the belly was burned off, and it was playing with Firearms Bear, and it had a big hole through, and the stuffing was out the back, and it had a couple other ones. But anyway, the bear somehow was just ate up in this section. It was the non-Care Bears, or the careless bears, I think. The careless bears. Playing with Fire Bear, playing with Firearms Bear. Yeah, anyway, that's why I went right. As soon as you said Little Pony, tattoos, visual image comes, I see something totally different. Yeah, it's been a long week. Discuss the historical and cultural significance of tattoos. We kind of touched on this.
Yeah.
We do it because it has meaning. But I know everyone in here has probably watched shows about other countries. We touched a little bit about it. You're talking about Japanese. Some people, it's like you just do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like the Hawaiian cultures, the old Hawaiian, what we were talking about, the bamboo.
With
Like
the
tribal,
stick thing.
and those people, it's funny because American pop, the people come back here and go, well, let's get tribal stuff. To them, that all means stuff. The way
Yeah.
something moves a certain way, and
Right.
people here are like, yeah, it looks pretty cool. What's it mean? I don't know. It just looks cool. I don't know. Tribal thing, I think, was really super trendy, and it's not that it's ugly. It's just that.
If it's done right, it looks nice. But most
Yeah.
of the older stuff is just like really thick nothings.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just like it's a staircase railing that's really carved out nicely. You go, but it doesn't really mean
That
it.
is one thing. I would say don't get other languages on your body if you don't know what it says, because then you're going to have a Chinese symbol that says sandwich or something.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
That's exactly, yeah. We talked about that tattoo specific stuff in art school. There's lost in translation. People get,
Yeah.
they get these Asian symbols, and then they don't. There was one country that I don't know if it was Pepsi or Coke had a commercial, "The Taste of a New Generation."
Yeah.
But when they translated it in their language, it suggested your dead relatives will come back to life if they drink it. And they're like, no.
Oh.
So there's a whole different way we have to word the signs, because they just tried to translate it. To us, it's the taste of a new generation. But when you translate it into their language, it's very different. And so tattoos are the same way.
Yeah.
I wouldn't take that chance. I see people with those, like, this means this. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I've heard horror stories about that kind of stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
You just took some dude's word for it. If that
Right.
dude's like any of my friends, I bet that says something totally different. 'Cause I wouldn't trust them to get new.
No.
Let's see.
That's a new trend actually for tattoos. It's is it Spotify? One of the music things. They're
sound-
getting
Oh,
like,
yeah.
they
The
pick
soundbite.
their song and then put I think that's kind of
The
neat,
little
but-
lines,
Yeah.
I think that's kind of cool. That I just saw a video on that the other day. That it was a couple and they were getting married, and he got like their song,
Yeah.
and it's tattooed on his arm.
Like the music notes to the song.
No,
Like
it's
no, you
the
can
sound
actually
wave.
like you can scan it with your phone and then the song will play whatever song you picked.
So again, when
But
we get
I
back
guess
to
it could
Big Bird
change.
and Woodstock,
Oh, geez.
Yeah, you might have
what-
a different. You might have a different song.
Yeah.
Well, by then that app's not going to work anyway, so it doesn't really
Well,
matter.
yeah, that's true too.
okay, I thought maybe a different song.
By then, it'll be the magical chip in your head, and it'll appear in front of you,
Right.
and yeah.
It's a great way to rickroll people, though. So
Oh yeah,
I'm sure there's multiple of those people.
I've had to explain rickrolling to so many young people.
I don't know that word. What's that mean?
Rickrolling
See, you got to explain it to me, and I'm an old person.
because he's never going to give you up,
Never.
never going to let you down.
Oh, cocks. I fall for this stupid
Yeah.
stuff.
I do that at trivia a lot, and they fall for it every time. They're
No,
like,
you still do that on Tuesdays?
"What? Thursdays?
Oh, it changed.
Yeah, Thursdays now.
And completely off topic for everyone who knows nothing about what we're talking about.
Yeah, young people.
Piece of cheese.
A youth group learned about rickrolling on Wednesday night. One of the kids decided to do that for a good 10 minutes.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
What do you do when you run out of places to get tattoos? Do you cross that? Like, you guys are pretty young, and you got some substantial stuff. Are you go, yeah. Let's see. What I got left? My calf. I got my calf.
Oh, I thought you meant like if your artist retires or something. You mean if you run out of places on your body?
Listen, tattoos. I said this before. It's not like I think I was talking to you about it at church the other day.
Yeah,
A lot of folks get one, and it's like potato chips.
yeah,
You keep going.
yeah, oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I quit because I just did. First of all, I was broke, and I had to pay. Even that last one I told you, Derb did. I traded a boombox for that. I didn't pay him. I gave him free tickets to the show, and I gave him a boombox. Boom.
Hey.
So that's part of it. Now they're more expensive,
Oh yeah.
and I know you can't tell by looking at these, but the detail on my tattoos was incredible when I got them. It didn't look anything like that. And now the prices, I'm just like, when my daughter told me her was $400. Mm-hmm. And when I think I showed you guys the picture of it, it's only, it's really that. She said her whole back. I'm picturing shoulder to tailbone.
Yes.
And it's so this, but it's really like this. And I'm like, oh, it's not so bad. $400 for script and butterfly and little dingly little decoration things, ornate things. It's pretty. It looks nice. It's not overbearing. It's subtle, but it's not worth $400.
Yeah, we were saying here it's about $100 an hour.
See, this is the conversation.
Yeah,
I'm
we
not
were
sure.
talking about.
Was it me and you?
It was you, not yeah.
No one ever quoted hourly rates when I got tattoos. Like how much they had a price tag. I mean, for a tattoo, how much is that? This much. How much is that? And I suspect it's because everything I looked at a picture of, I go, I want this completely changed. I want, I like the idea, but I would design it myself. So I'm assuming people would do that when they hit the tattoo chair. And that's why tattoo artists probably said, you know what, we're going to start doing this by the hour because too many people come in here flighty, not knowing what they want, and then they want to change it. And so now that's what I suspect happened. Because when I got mine, it wasn't that way. It was like, this is what I want. And they would draw me the picture, and then I would have to stop by and look at it because we didn't have email and all that stuff. And they'd tell me a price. I'm like, cool, we're good. And that was it. I paid them that, tip them, and then that's it. Not this hourly stuff.
Oh, and you'd better tip them. Better tip them. Because if you don't, if you ever go back for another one, you're getting a bad one.
Yeah. Yeah, my brother got a bad one. He had to have it removed. Anyway.
I've heard
That's another story.
Yeah. I've heard the removal process is incredibly painful.
Yeah, I've watched it.
With the-
Only on TV.
Like the laser thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
And
doesn't
you
look.
have to do like
It's a couple.
Multiple sessions.
Yeah.
depending upon the
Mark
size.
Mark Wahlberg was talking about it because he's also now a Christian, and after he had kids, he decided he wanted to get all his stuff taken off, and he had a lot.
Mark Wahlberg had a lot?
Yeah.
Marky Mark?
Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
I didn't know that.
He had a lot, and he got them all lasered.
Wow. I would see, that's funny because just the other day I was thinking about if I ever did anything with my tattoos, would I ever remove them? I thought, no, I'd have them re-detailed.
Yeah.
But I don't think I can because the ink is such an area so dark now. It'll look like. I'm sorry. Remember the picture of Jesus that woman tried to restore?
Oh, jeez.
No.
You don't know what I'm talking about?
No.
Okay. Eric, you know what I'm talking about? Okay.
I can picture it though.
Yes.
What you're saying. And
Some woman, you know
Yes.
it. You know it.
Yes.
Okay. Just when we're done today, trust me. Look it up. Just Google it. Picture of Jesus restored. It looks like a Picasso. It's a beautiful painting, but it kind of goes into disrepair. And this old lady says she's an expert at restoring paintings, and it looks like Judah did it.
It looks like.
And then so people, that's their son. He's a little baby. He's a little toddler.
Yeah.
And he.
One and a half.
I mean, when you look at it, you're like, a priceless piece of art was absolutely destroyed.
Yeah.
And the whole world went crazy. And then a lot of people went, since this was such an awful thing, that's actually worth some dough now. People have some weird things, the way they look at. When you guys leave and you're driving home, Google that thing he's talking about. And when you see the before and after.
Yeah, you're going to go, oh.
And then you understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
If I tried to dress up one of these tattoos now, it would look like that painting restored. Yeah, folks watching at home or listening, maybe you'll get what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're getting towards the end. Man, this cheese is good. Jackie brings us cheese in here all the time.
I bring cheese.
All right. And a knife to cut the cheese.
Indeed. Because I tried a spoon one time and it wasn't a good idea.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't work.
Nope.
I know. We're just kind of veering off the road here. All right. Final thoughts. Final thoughts. Somebody says that on TV, don't they?
Final thoughts. Jerry Springer used to say
I was
that.
on Jerry Springer.
You were on Jerry Springer?
92.
Did you go, Jerry?
We was on there right before it became a pornographic slugfest. So we were on there when it was a little controversial, but
In the audience or on stage?
on stage, guests.
Okay.
I was a guest.
I have to, can we find
Yeah.
it?
I can't find it. I looked everywhere for it. Gil Graham, our bass player at the time, he was on it too. And Carmen Guzman was the producer. Then the guy with the beard and the glasses, he came later. He's the one that turned it into a pornographic slugfest. We were just talking about this last night because it's filmed in the NBC in Chicago, in the same place where they filmed Jenny Jones. Mm-hmm. And I was telling my wife, because we were watching a documentary about, don't ask me what Jenny Jones is. This is a whole nother story. That's okay. Anyway, yeah, I was on Jerry Springer. And he's a nice guy. He was. He was a nice guy.
Yeah.
We had a great time. And I didn't get humiliated and nothing like that. So.
You didn't throw a chair?
No, it wasn't like, it was more fun and upbeat. There was still bringing out surprises to shock you from your past.
Yeah.
Our drummer was supposed to be on there, but he refused because he was convinced they were going to do that to us. And I'm like, no, they're not. I made him But the interesting thing about it is my girlfriend, because our girlfriends were on there too. And because the topic of the show was all about jealousy. So we were in a band. Our band was hitting on our cylinders. We were successful, and our girlfriends were just constantly just like, man, not trusting us about anything. Mm-hmm. Rightfully so. But at the time, we're like, that's insane. We're idiot kids is what we were. But they told me, why don't you propose to her on the show? They kept trying to get me to propose to her. I said, I'm not doing that. And they said, we'll pay for the ring. We have an account with the jewelry store downstairs. We stayed at the Intercontinental in downtown Chicago. There's a jewelry store around the corner. So you go in there and pick out a ring. It's in a certain case because we're not going to just pay anything, but we'll buy you a nice ring if you propose on the show. And I said emphatically, no. Not doing this for a piece of jewelry.
Yeah.
And because I don't have any contact with her 6 hours before the show. So I can't go to her and go, listen, I'm going to propose. We can get a free gold ring. And then but I don't really want to marry you now. You can't, which I wouldn't do that anyway. That'd get me punched in the face. So anyway, yeah, a lot to unpack there. I hope I'm still a pastor after this podcast. Listen, I've repented. I'm a pastor. I went to Bible college. I've changed, okay? Long time ago. Thanks for pulling that out of me, somebody.
Sure.
All right.
Gave that willfully.
I know.
I did. But I see you writing stuff down, and that makes me nervous when I talk and I see people write.
Can find it.
Springer.
No one does that when I'm preaching. They do this a lot. I don't see him do this, but I see him do this.
Oh, jeez.
I'm just kidding. People are kind. What's your wrap up, Eric? What would you like to say about your thoughts on tattoos as we exit the podcast?
Tattoos don't make bad people. Bad people make bad people.
That's right.
That's right.
Don't go the easy route and go, like, you know what? I agree with that. We'll stand on that. You got to have your own thing.
Well, no, that was my thing. I said that before we got here, but I didn't say it so kindly.
So, I can see you being very forthright. Yeah.
Yeah.
My wife's like that too, watching TV. I'm not going to go into that. She gets very Italian when we watch television.
Oh, no.
She's very honest with the TV. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I know, I can see it in her.
I'll tell you what I said, but not on here.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I know I wouldn't want to be a customer service rep if Jen came up to me frosted.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. No. Jackie?
I was just going to say, like tattoos are art. Just don't put stupid art on your body.
Yeah.
Or anybody's name.
Yeah.
I would agree. I'll revert back to what I said from a pastoral perspective. Your body's a temple of God. Choose carefully what you decorate your temple with. Mm-hmm. So, should have meaning, profound value, and don't get offended if somebody asks you about it. Otherwise, why would you put it there?
Right.
So, yeah. All right. That's all we got. That's a wrap for this week. Thank you, guys. Thanks,
Thank
Eric.
you.
Thanks, Jen. Had a great time. See you later.